Hey guys, welcome back to another Disc Golf Examiner Disc Review. Today I'm with Dynamic Disc team member Casey DeSmith and Pittsburgh Penguin, I should mention. Casey, how's it going?
It's going great. Beautiful day out here at North Boundary.
Absolutely. We're out here at the opening of North Boundary Park in Cranberry, PA, and we're having a ton of fun. We thought, let's do a review while we're out here. We have the Dynamic Disc Raider. It's the prototype Raider, and I believe it's in the Fuzion Plastic. So Casey's going to throw it as a Pro Arm player. I'll throw it as an AM player, and we'll get to it. So Casey, what did you think of this disc, just throwing it yourself?
Overall, I would say pretty fast, stable disc. I think definitely more of a pro style disc, especially if you don't have a headwind, it's going to be tough to kind of get it to flip. But yeah, great for especially, I would say, Hyzer carries. You get a ton of glide with this thing as long as you put a ton of spin on it. And then it's awesome for huge monster flex shots, especially maybe if you have a little bit of a tailwind. It's great for flex shots. I would say into a headwind, more of a Hyzer flip disc for me. But overall, I would say my bread and butter with this disc is a long Hyzer or more of a flex shot.
Yeah, and I think for an amateur player like myself, it may be too much of a overstable disc for me. However, in the wind that we have today, I think it performed very well. So let's go ahead and show you how we reach those conclusions. We'll start it off by going to the profile.
Yeah, I would say the Raider has a very wide rim. Excellent for people, maybe guys with bigger hands that have trouble fitting the disc comfortably in their fingers. I think this is definitely a good one for that. The other thing I noticed about the Raider in the Fuzion Plastic, it's a little bit gummier in the middle than maybe an Enforcer or a Defender. Maybe a little flatter in the middle of the disc, and definitely gummy. You can kind of force your thumb down into the disc and get a really good grip on it. So that's one thing I really liked, especially when I'm throwing a nice flex shot. I like that gumminess of the Raider.
When I threw the Raider on a Hyzer line, even with this right to left wind, it did not flip up.
When I threw the Raider on a Hyzer line, flipped up a little bit and then carried. Obviously we have a tailwind here, so maybe into a headwind it would flip up a little bit more. But it definitely rode the wind really nice. It got me a ton of distance, got me out past that tree there in perfect position, and that was on a straight Hyzer line, so a lot of distance.
When I threw the Raider on a flat release, it stayed nice and straight and then had a nice hookup there at the end.
Yeah, when I threw the Raider on a flat release, it kind of just held straight for a long time. I was throwing into a hill, so it didn't really have time to Hyzer out at the end. But usually if you're throwing on a flat plane, it'll go flat and straight for a while, and then Hyzer out at the end.
When I threw the Raider on an Anheuser release, it did have a nice little flex out to the right. Even with a tailwind, it held nice and straight there, and I liked it, liked the flight.
When I threw the Raider on an Anheuser, flexed out, glided out for a while, and then Hyzered back. But it got me a lot of distance once again, got me around the tree, maybe a tad further than the Hyzer shot, but not a whole lot. So definitely carries well on a Hyzer, but you can also use it for that monster flex shot.
And that's how we threw the Dynamic Disc Raider in that Fuzion Plastic. Of course, it's the prototype version. Casey, thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian. Always a pleasure.
So if you like this review, remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and share it. We always appreciate it whenever you do that. And if you'd like to donate to our Patreon, go right ahead. Links in the description. So until next week, guys, keep banging those chains. Nice. Good job.